Welcome to our first ever Atlanta Classic Comics weekly roundup. We're going to give you about 5 to 10 minutes worth of stuff that we are excited about, new stuff kind of out in the geek world this week. I am Jeff. This is my buddy Nicholas.
Woohoo!
And I'm going to go ahead and just ask you, man, what are you excited about this week? What do you want to talk about?
First thing first, I want to talk about is this: that Star Wars Rogue One just came out, new trailer. I'm excited for it because it didn't show. It kind of went to J.J. Abrams style. I know it's a different director, same director who directed Godzilla. He
Okay.
directed this one, and it shows so much mystery about who were the rebels, who were the ones who got the plans for the Death Star, but it didn't say so much about it. And what's his name? The guy who played Ip Man, Danny Yen. I can't remember.
From Ant-Man?
No, Ip Man.
Okay.
He's in it, and I don't know if he's blind or something, but he's kicking every stormtrooper's behind in this one.
So,
Like, literally.
so I gotta ask because everybody knows that reads our blog. I am on a no trailer um, kick where I am not watching these trailers anymore because I'm of the opinion that they're giving away way too much. I feel like the trailers single handedly ruined. I don't know, 5 of the best scenes from Batman vs Superman that we
Yeah.
already saw in the trailers. And so you'll have to be. So I'm starting with Rogue One, starting with the newer Suicide Squad trailers, the newest Civil War trailers, all that stuff. I'm trying to put them out of my mind as hard as it is because they're on TV every 5 seconds.
On
But
YouTube.
exactly. So tell me, what Rogue One? Where is this set as far as in relation to Force Awakens?
This is set between. This is set around 30 years before the Force Awakens. This is
Okay.
like between.
So this is
Episode
right
3.
after
Yeah,
Return of the
between,
Jedi.
Yeah, this is before Return of the Jedi. This is like between Episode 3 and Episode 4.
Okay, so this is in between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope.
Yeah,
Okay. See,
like remember when they said that the rebels it's in the first when Star Wars came up and the first line they said the rebel alliance had to get some spies and steal the Death Star and then went to Princess Leia and Princess Leia. That's where they got it from.
Okay. So this is kind of a prequel, or it is a prequel
Yes.
to the original trilogy from the 70s.
Yeah.
But it's post George Lucas's trilogy from the late 90s, early thousands.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And
So I'm on board. I mean, I'm rocking the shirt. I'm take my money, JJ. Take my money, George Lucas. Take my money, Disney. I'm gonna go watch it. But I'm putting the trailer aside. I'm not gonna check it out. I'm just gonna go watch it. I'm gonna be amazed. But now that I know when it's set, I'm even more excited about it because, it'd be good to see a prequel that is kind of done some justice. That hopefully will be in line with the original trilogy and with what Force
And they
Awakens
said
did.
supposedly Darth Vader might appear in this one. So
Oh,
we don't
really?
know.
Okay.
But they said he might have some kind of new pre-armor before he had that other stuff.
Okay.
So we don't know what the designs will be. So
Okay.
hopefully it'll be the same outfit, but he's more bad.
Well, you saw the outfit at the end of Revenge of the Sith was essentially the same
Yeah,
in
it's
New
essentially
Hope.
the same.
So theoretically, you're going to see the same kind of Vader
I
if you
guess-
see Vader.
I guess because if anybody watches Star Wars Rebels, like
The cartoon?
yeah,
Right.
it's the sort of same. It's the same costume and all that such. And everybody saw what happened to the end of season 2. No spoilers. I'm not going to spoil for anybody. You'll see the transition when Darth Vader comes from that concept and just walks away from the problem that happened.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're going to change. He's going to change tactics, change masks, or anything like that. But it's a new ball game with Star Wars Rebels.
Okay. All right. So we've checked our Star Wars box. What else is going on? What else are we excited about?
They did a new trailer for Suicide Squad.
I heard about that at the MTV Awards.
Yeah. And if anybody knows that song Blitz, which I'm going to be downloading a lot of. God, ever since Guardians of the Galaxy came out, everybody wants to use all the old school rock and roll pop songs.
Right.
They came
Well, you
out.
saw even Deadpool did it with the rap song that he was
yep.
hitting it in the trailer that they had in one of the earlier scenes in the movie that was fantastic. So.
And I feel, with the rumors not rumors, that they had to go back to reshoot some of the scenes and such because they said WB after
For Suicide Squad.
after Batman vs Superman, they said, listen, we're gonna give you about 10 million, 20 million, $100 million just to reshoot some scenes and such. Because they said at the second trailer, those were the funniest scenes.
Right.
So they went back,
Redid some more stuff to be more
I don't
like
know
that.
if they're gonna date, but with Jai Courtney, who's playing Boomerang, he said that it's gonna be more action scenes into it instead of funny scene. And in a way, I kind of like it that it's more dark comedy. Like
Okay.
if it's dark black comedy,
Well,
like
that's what almost all the DC stuff is. I mean, DC is way darker, way more earnest, way more, you know, lack of fun than you get with the Marvel films.
yeah,
I
and I
mean,
guess that with most people they don't understand. Like when we see Marvel, we know how Iron Man is. Because I'm sorry, when you see Iron Man, you see Robert Downey Jr. and
totally.
this is Robert Downey Jr.
Well, it is my firmly held and deeply seated opinion that Robert Downey Jr. was put on this earth to play Tony Stark. So yeah, I mean, and I think that really when you just drill down on it, I mean, you could kind of make the argument the whole reason that Marvel films are by and large more beloved than the stuff that DC's been putting out is because the casting is so perfect. I mean, to the person, you've got just it's home run after home run. I mean, the thing I just said about Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, you could say about Chris Hemsworth with Thor. You could say about Chris Evans with Steve Rogers. I mean,
Chris Pratt.
you could say about Chris Pratt with Star-Lord. You could say about the girl that plays Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. I mean, it's like even Paul Bettany's Vision is perfect. I mean, it's like every single person casting wise is phenomenal, and that's why I think you get so much interest and attention to these, even the smaller films like Ant-Man, because I mean, even the characters like Michael Pena and T.I. played in Ant-Man, and that guy that was kind of like a half villain in Dark Knight,
Yes.
the insane guy who was like part of that little crew with Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
All three of those guys were hilarious, and that's the kind of thing that you get in a Marvel movie that they just don't really have in a DC movie. And then the stuff,
or even in DC Comics at all.
right? And then the stuff like that you saw going back to the trailer thing with the Batman vs Superman, they took 2 or 3 of the funniest parts of the movie that actually would have been funny, and they drilled them into your mind in the trailer, so you didn't really ever have a laugh in the movie. There was no like natural laugh. Like there's a scene where Wonder Woman shows up and Batman and Superman are kind of looking at each other like, she's with you, I thought she was with you. Like that was funny the very first time you saw it, but you saw it on your couch or on your iPhone. You didn't see it in the theater, and so there isn't really a whole lot of comic relief.
Yeah, because when we went to it, it was like quiet. Like the whole theater was quiet. The only time I got really excited was like the third act. That's the only time.
Well, the third act was where all the action was.
Yeah, and I was like a little 5-year-old kid that's happy to see all 3 of them fight.
Yeah.
Heck, I was just happy to see Batman versus Superman, but
well, they gave away that Trinity shot in the trailer too,
they did.
Where you see Wonder Woman in the center and Batman and Superman over the shoulders. I mean, that's a money shot. Like we were talking a few minutes before we started recording about Avengers and how Avengers has that iconic scene in their Act 3 where they're on the bridge in New York City and there's a camera panning around the whole team in kind of a circular motion, and you just see them kind of all like getting ready to go. And that was when you saw that in the movie, in the theater, it was like, oh my gosh, this is what superhero movies were made to be. Is this scene. And it was really the same thing with the Trinity shot in BVS, except for in Avengers you got to see that with the weight of a theater presentation behind it, and with Batman vs Superman you just saw it kind of given away in the trailer. And so for me, that was kind of Batman vs. Like there's so many movies that you've seen trailers that have really done a whole lot of takeaway from the actual movie, but Batman vs Superman was kind of like the final straw for me, where I was like, I feel like I've seen this whole movie, or at least most of the good parts, because of the trailers. So I'm going to try to put those on the back burner, see if I can make it through 2016, because I think we have like 6 or 7 more comic movies coming out this year between Doctor Strange and Suicide Squad and everything. Yeah, that I'm just going to see if I can do it and see if the movies themselves don't become that much more exciting for me.
Okay, another thing that came out was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out this week.
They're making another one of those? I'm kidding.
The trailer, the second trailer came out, and I will say they used some of the same stuff from Super Bowl and the previous trailer that came out of the summer, and it wasn't so big and it wasn't so but it felt like they were going back to the roots of why we love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Is Michael Bay doing this one too?
He's not directing this.
Okay.
He's producing this, but they got a new director.
Okay.
To do this one.
Well, our boy Stephen Amell from Arrow,
Yeah.
Casey Jones.
Yeah.
See, that's for me. Like, I'm so excited about watching that because, you know, if DC isn't smart enough to put Stephen Amell on the big screen with the Justice League,
Yeah.
and they want to go with an even darker, more earnest looking portrayal of the Flash than even what you got out of Batman with Ezra Miller, I'm just like, why can't we just have Grant Gustin? He's fantastic on the TV show.
I think the reason why, because like I said beforehand, this is like Jeff Stroud said, like most DC universes, they have different universe. Like what we see in if anybody watching television shows with Supergirl and Flash, like Flash went to another, instead of going to another time and such, he went to another universe.
Right.
He wound up in Supergirl's universe.
Right. Like a different Earth.
Yeah. But
right.
he wound
Which
up
they do a
Supergirl.
lot of that in the Flash show.
Yeah, but they do. Yeah, and they seem to go back and forth on
right.
different universes and such, which is really confusing sometimes.
Well, it can be, but at the same time, it's kind of got like a Back to the Future aspect of it, of what they're doing, where, you know, you've got Flash kind of jumping around trying to solve a mystery here or there, and it's very similar to the comics and what they've done with some of the story arcs in the past. So that's not really that odd to me. But I mean, you know, the point being is that we finally got Stephen Amell on a big screen as a big screen comic character, which I think he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, because I believe he is Casey Jones.
Yeah, he's going to be great.
If anybody, but it's like, to me, I love that when I watched I don't know if you watch it. I watched Superpower Beatdown, which is by Bat in the Sun.
Okay.
And they had Kick-Ass
on YouTube.
Yeah,
right.
And they do like the fans choose like which superhero
who's going to win between this or this, right?
So they had Kick-Ass versus Casey Jones.
Okay.
And if you watch
Casey Jones, hands down.
If you know wrestling, John Morrison played Casey Jones.
Okay.
And I was like, this is going to be the best.
Well, that's like back and forth with the ties, because Stephen Amell, I feel like every time I'm on Instagram or Twitter or something, I see Casey Jones at a WWE event.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I don't know if he's signed with them or what's going on, but he's like all over the WWE now. I think he's doing that
for charities.
Yeah.
And all that stuff,
I don't
which
know,
is not bad.
I don't know, but he's great. I think everybody wants more Stephen Amell, so hopefully, his Casey Jones is fantastic. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Final thought for the week. What do you got?
Final thought is, I hope that with all these reboots for the comic books, because ever since these movies came out, these reboots are starting
in the issues.
Yeah, because now they're doing a DC rebirth that's coming out in May.
June, right?
Yeah, May,
June, yeah.
Yeah, and they try, because everybody's so mad because the New 52 is not bringing back Wally West, or not bringing back the Wally West they want. So they're bringing back Wally West, but it's the black Wally West that's been coming. That's
from the TV show.
No, from the New 52, because they did some changes to New 52, so they thought of combining the best of the pre 52 and New 52. They keep the same Batman, because the Batman, he's still the same Batman from all the others.
Right. Gotcha.
And like I said, one more thing, wrap it up, is Marvel Civil War 2. It's like after
the comic series.
Yeah, because it's
following the newer Civil War.
Yeah.
That they put out 6 months ago or something.
Yeah.
Following the original Civil War of the same name from 2005, 2006.
Yeah, it's
easily one of the best comics, the 0506 series that you can read.
Probably the best Marvel series you ever going to see.
It's fantastic. It's not necessarily required reading before you go see the movie in a few weeks, because it doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with the movie. They may pull some of the storylines, but by and large, because the cinematic U doesn't have access to the Fantastic Four, or Reed Richards, or the Wolverine, or the X-Men, it's hard to do the whole story, tit for tat, because the characters aren't all there. But you are going to see similar themes in the books versus in the movie. So, it stands on its own. It's probably one of the few times ever that I may say, after seeing the movie, the book was better than the movie, because I don't really say that often, but the book is fantastic. So if you haven't seen it or read it, it's been out for 10 years. Check it out. And my final thought for the week, go ahead and hand me that. The Deadpool up top. Deadpool. We just got this bad boy yesterday on consignment. It is a Deadpool Wacky Wobbler, which is really not that cool in and of itself, but if you look closely at the scribble on the front, it has a fantastic silver ink signature by the man himself, Stan Lee. I first saw it and figured it was Rob Liefeld, because Stan Lee didn't really have a whole lot to do with Deadpool, but somebody went out there and said, I have a Wacky Wobbler, I want Stan Lee to sign it, and They did. And on top of that, they brought us a photo of Stan. We have this photo signing the Wacky Wobbler, which is fantastic. Stan the man in the flesh. I told the guy, I said, how in the world did you even get that photo? Because I've been to an event and seen Stan up close and personal, and it's kind of like the Gestapo around him, like his handlers, they don't really let you near him. The closest you come to him is kind of like as you're passing the lunchroom line and you're grabbing your roll and you're grabbing your green beans, you kind of have him quickly sign while you would be grabbing your green beans, and that's it. And then you just keep right on moving. You don't say hi to him, you don't talk to him. And there's usually signs everywhere saying no pictures.
No pictures.
But somehow this guy got one, and it wasn't like a pocket shot. It wasn't like a quick one. I mean, he has got this thing framed up. It is perfect. I mean, amazing. So anyway, we're going to have this live on the site starting tonight. Check it out. Easily, one of a kind, two of a kind kind of item, because Stan's signature on anything is cool, but Stan's signature on something super rare is even cooler. So, signing off this week for Atlanta Classic Comics, week 1. Very first ever kind of comics roundtable, entertainment roundtable. I'm Jeff.
I'm Nick.
And we will see you next week.